Welcome to another edition of Smell the Coffee. Today I am here with the lovely Glenora Shipura, and we will be entertaining you with the latest happenings, not only in the Namibian entertainment industry, but across the borders. My name is Aina Raizakweo, and I'm so excited to be in your company and to kickstart your morning with a great laugh. Now, this weekend, there was a lot of sports happening over the weekend. I know that Springbok won, and I saw a very funny meme. Apparently, let's see who is the strongest ancestor, Nelson Mandela or Queen Elizabeth. Did you
Nelson
watch
Mandela
the game?
came through. I watched the game, and I mean, it was great. They won, and it's almost like at the very last minute, you know, and everybody is in anticipation.
So, are they going to the finals? Or
Yes,
did
they are
win
going to the finals. They're going to the
Oh,
finals, and they're
okay.
going to play against the All Blacks, the New Zealanders.
Oh, okay.
So that's we're crossing our fingers for that.
So, who do you have your money on?
Of course, the Springbok is from Southern Africa. Come on, you gotta support.
Okay.
I don't want to
guess,
hear.
I mean, I don't watch rugby, but for that matter, I guess I will be
You'll
supporting.
join. You'll join. You'll
Yes,
join with
I will
even a Springbok
definitely join.
t-shirt.
How was your weekend?
My weekend was very relaxed. I was at home. I was feeling. I was supposed to go out actually, and then my friend texted me. She's like, "Yo, are you feeling up to it?" I'm like, "No, I would rather, stay at home. I would literally murder somebody if I had to leave the house." So
Why
that's
were
how
you
I
not
felt.
like?
Sometimes you just go into that. You make plans, and then the time comes, and you're like, "I would rather die." Have you had those moments where you're like, "Oh, I would rather die than leave the house"?
Not
right
rather
now?
die, but yeah.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. For me, it was like,
Yeah.
no, I'm not leaving the house at all. So what did you get up to?
Nothing actually, same. I had a good rest. That is something that I'm very, very grateful for, because usually on my weekends, during my weekends rather, I am on the go. I'm always doing stuff. So this weekend, I decided to just stay back. I stayed indoors on Friday, on Saturday and Sunday. Particularly yesterday, I slept the whole day. I slept, I think, from last night until 3 p.m.
Wow.
I was in and out of sleep, in and out of my bedroom. I only like physically stepped out of the room like at around 4 when I went to go look for something to eat.
Yeah, that's the only reason.
Yeah.
But that's nice to get that level of rest. We don't actually prioritize rest. And I think in this hustle culture, we have made it, getting 4 hours of sleep or 2 hours of sleep like a norm and something to brag about, but it's not healthy in the long run.
And I was watching Real Housewives of Durban. If you haven't watched Real Housewives of Durban, season 3, let me tell you something. You have to get on that content because it's premium entertainment. I mean,
Okay.
It's on Showmax, by the way.
Give me the plug. Yeah, I'm gonna watch it.
It's
I'm
on
gonna watch
Showmax.
it. I'm gonna watch
And
it.
it already finaled, so you will not have to wait for next week to get the
so
next
I
episode.
can watch
You
everything
can
all at
binge
once.
watch everything.
But if I've never watched the previous seasons, can I just start with season 3?
I just started with season 3 and I had so much fun.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do that actually.
Because like I'm not interested in content from last year, 2021, no 2020, 2021, 2022, and season 3 is for 2023. So I was like,
I'm not gonna watch all that to catch up
no.
with this. Yeah, no, I like that. I actually want a guilty pleasure, something to watch. So thanks for the plug.
You are definitely welcome. After the break, I have more plug for you, this time on Entertainment News. Stay with us.
There's music galore at the VRS Sports Fields come December when Vocal Cast Production brings you SA's Mikasa along with top Namibian artists Paige, Jared G and DJ Malza on December 2nd. If jazz is more your style, don't miss the smooth sounds of Fujazz, Casey, Letitia, Don Vino, Judith Safuma and Major Sevenths on the 3rd. You can enjoy each event individually or you can easily make a weekend of it too. Get your tickets online via eticket.my.na or at the NMH offices in General Muhammad Murtala Avenue, Eros. Brought to you in conjunction with Republicane, Exhibition and Events Warehouse, Yango, DB Audio and the Windhoek Country Club and Resort. See you there!
Well, getting into our bizarre, sometimes straight up gossip news stories. A man forgets his wife after a toilet break and drives 100 miles without her. A husband accidentally left his wife on the side of the road during a toilet break and carried on driving 100 miles before he realized she was not in the vehicle. According to Thai news site, Buntom Chaimun and Amune Chaimun set off to drive through the night to her hometown in the province of Mahasarkham in central northeastern Thailand. During the trip, Buntom, 55, pulled his Isuzu pickup over to the side of the road so he could urinate. After he stopped, Amune decided she would also relieve herself and ducked into a nearby jungle for a quick bathroom break. But when the 49-year-old returned to the road, Buntum and their vehicle was nowhere to be seen, leaving her stranded in the dark. Now, to make matters worse, she had no money or a phone on her, so she had to seek help on foot. 13 miles later, just shy of a half a marathon, Amune made it into the center of Kabin Buri, where she found a police station around 5 a.m. Now, she pleaded with the police to help her find her husband, whose phone number she could not remember. Now, police located Buntum's number, but despite calling him 20 times, he didn't pick up. He reported he didn't notice as he drove on, blissfully unaware of the predicament he had left his wife in. Now, when he eventually realized Amune wasn't in their vehicle, Buntum was 100 miles away. You know, 100 miles is like more than 100 Ks. That's like more than an hour.
How do you forget your wife? That is reasons for us to break up. How are you going to forget me? You actively are taking this decision.
He wanted a break. He wanted a break.
Drive. If you want a break, just say, I want a break. Why are you going sideways?
She's talking too much. I need just an hour.
That is not an excuse. There is no such things as forgot your wife. You know we came to.
No, but apparently in his mind, he thought you were sleeping in the back seat.
How will I sleep in the back seat if I was sitting on the front seat?
No, he just assumed, no, because he had left her in the back seat when he went to go urinate. So he just assumed she was still in the back seat when he came back and drove.
What he should have checked.
Like, how do you not check?
Double checked and double check and double check.
I'm just shocked. I'm just like, what? The things men will do. I think she was maybe talking too much, and his sister, I need a break from this woman.
That energy is not make sure. Moving over to another story where the energy is not make sure, but you will be the judge of that. Lupita Nyong'o has gone public with her pain. The Oscar-winning actress posted a lengthy note on Thursday on her verified Instagram account, in which she revealed the end of a relationship. There are much more important things going on in the world right now, and my thoughts are with those who are deeply suffering. The note begins. At this moment, it is necessary for me to share a personal truth and publicly disassociate myself from someone I can no longer trust. Nyong'o went on to write, I find myself in a season of heartbreak because of a love suddenly and devastatingly extinguished by deception. I am tempted to run into the shadows and hide, only to return to the light when I have regained my strength enough for me to say, whatever, my life is better this way, she wrote. But I am reminded that the magnitude of pain I am feeling is equal to the measure of the capacity of my love. And so I am choosing to face the pain, cultivating the courage to meet my life exactly where it is and trusting that this too shall pass. While she did not mention the person she was referring to, Nyong'o has most recently been linked to television host and sports commentator Selema Masekela. The pair first went public with their relationship via social media in December 2022. Now, the author of this article, which I took from CNN, said they have tried to reach out to Masekela's representatives for comment, but they did not get any. So that is Masekela, Selema Masekela. I understand he is Hugh Masekela's son. You know,
that's what
Hugh
I wanted
Masekela?
to ask. Why does it sound familiar?
Yes,
That makes so much sense.
So that Papisa is the one that Lupita has been dating and is the one, like we are all assuming she's referring to, because she had gone public with their relationship. Now she's telling us she would like to publicly disassociate, not distance, disassociate.
My name can never be spoken in the same sentence.
Disassociate. I wonder what this brother did.
No,
it's not
but
clear.
It's giving, because I mean, she's very like elegant and everything she posts seems whatever. But this one time, it's giving, you know, like how there's Facebook memes around like how black girls when they are dumped or when things go bad. I'm the CEO of my life. It's giving that energy.
It's giving
motivational speaker.
All of a sudden,
All of a sudden. The paragraph is really long.
The paragraph is well written.
And
I
long.
was like, okay, Siri, is this how we explain our heartbreaks? Is this your first heartbreak, Lupita?
I think it's her first.
How?
Because some of us, we keep it moving, my child. When you ask me about who, I'm like, who?
Or maybe she only went to go publicly disassociate herself from him because he's a public figure.
Maybe.
Or what?
No, but
because
it's not,
I'm pretty sure
you can
she
just
has
break
dated,
up and keep quiet,
I'm
even though it was
pretty
painful.
sure she has dated some other people, but she has not publicly disassociated herself
No, but
from
that was
them.
deep. No,
It's very deep.
I think it's her first real heartbreak. I think she was really in love with him, and then it's like,
No,
you know when
I
you get like your
think-
heart shattered?
I think something deep is really going on. Maybe he's did something really, really shady to her or to some other people.
Because he's finding light in the darkness. That
Or
paragraph had so many
she
things.
never ever wants anything to do with him ever again in
Masha,
her life.
I feel
she
like-
doesn't even want us to have this conversation about her.
Exactly. She and who? What's the guy's name again? Never in the
Never.
same
We
same
cannot.
sentence.
It's an abomination now. I cannot say that name.
Exactly.
And her in the same sentence.
She said, what, these two shall pass, eh?
These two shall pass. I wonder what he did.
I actually wonder what he did. I
He
think
should come back out with his side of the story.
Yes, I
or
also
she
want to
should
hear.
just tell us, this is what Papisa did, and this is why I'm disassociating myself from him. And
Because
this is
he's
why
an untrustable character. There were some things that she said about
she
his
said,
character.
I can
What
no
is-
longer, I would like to disassociate myself from this person because I can no longer trust them.
Yes,
Why
that
can't
was
you
the-
trust
yes,
them? Did
yes,
he
exactly.
cheat? Did he, why?
Me, I want to hear the truth. Yeah, did he steal money from her? What
Yes,
happened?
yes.
What happened?
But
Well,
nonetheless.
moving on to our next story. In another case of the audacity of this man's. A woman was shocked to find out that her ex-boyfriend had chosen to name his new baby after her.
What?
The woman named Grace shared a short TikTok video caption, "Just found out that my ex gave his newborn daughter my name." Speechless after learning about the disrespectful act, Grace simply shared stunned facial expressions before covering her mouth to stifle an uncomfortable laugh. Now, the woman posted a second video to clarify that Gray is just her creator name and that her birth name is common but spelled in a unique way. She went on to explain to skeptics that throughout her entire life, she has run into no more than 4 people who spell their names in the same way she does. To support her claim, she admitted that the child not only has her first name, but her middle name as well, something she has never encountered. Her middle name, like her first, is spelled in its own unique way, making herself a likely source of the combination of the two abnormally spelled names for her former partner's baby.
Nah, you can't do that. Why are you naming your child after your ex? Are you that in love? What's happening, guys?
The audacity of these men, ne? Now, apparently the wife, his current partner, doesn't know about her. And so she's like in this predicament. She should tell her and maybe send her birth certificate. Like, I used to date your partner 20 years back, and now he has named your daughter after me. I mean, I don't know. Should she tell?
Did the man confirm that, yes, Glenora, I am naming the child
You know
after
how
you and
unique-
you are my ex?
You know how unique Glenora is, ne? Let's say...
Maybe it's just a name that he
come
likes.
on. Glenora
How
is very
did the
unique.
man
If
say?
one of my exes has a baby daughter named Glenora, I'm like,
Are
where?
you
From
basically
where?
assuming
From where?
already it's-
From where? Your first name and your middle name, and they're spelled a certain way. There's no way. Come on. Like if somebody has, especially Glenora, because it's so unique. Like if somebody's daughter is named Glenora and I was dating you, I'm like, wow, wow.
I bet it's just a name that I like, huh? Not that the kid is named after you. It's just a name that I like.
Your first and
you
your
happen
second name. Your
to
first and
be
your second.
Glenora.
Your first and your middle name.
I guess we can debate about that, but nonetheless, in our interview segment, we talk about Namibia Trade Forum and what its duties are, food security and mentorship program. Diana Master had a sit-down with Stacey Pinto, the Chief Executive of Namibia Trade Forum. When we return, we'll bring you this interview. Stay with us.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master. Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
You're still watching Smell the Coffee. Now this morning I have someone who oozes elegance with me. We are joined by Stacey Pinto, Chief Executive of the Namibia Trade Forum. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. Good morning.
Good morning. So please share with us and with our viewers, of course, what the Namibia Trade Forum duties are.
Right. So the Namibia Trade Forum is an agency of the Ministry of Industrialization and Trade. Similar to your BIPA, your Competitions Commission. We are an agency of the Ministry of Trade, particularly responsible for private sector engagement. And the reason we do that, or the purpose for which we do that, is to ensure that private sector can influence trade policy. What does that mean? If you're sort of up to date with what's going on in the economy, you will know that Namibia is a party to a couple of trade agreements, one of them being SACU, SADC, etc. Now, how that works is that we go to those forums not as individual member states, but as a collective. And so our role is to make sure that private sector can give their views or their input to help create a national position, which is then amplified to a regional position. That is a very critical role because, as you know, government does not trade. It is private sector's job to do so. And so the people that trade policy will most influence is private sector. And so we have been instituted or mandated to make sure that there's a structured way in which private sector can influence the policy that eventually creates the environment in which they function. The second role that we perform on behalf of the Ministry of Trade is that of market access, be it domestic or regional or international. What that means is that we have a number of Namibian produced goods, services as well. And the immediate question is, where is the market? So we help facilitate that function. We work with retailers, we work with different countries to make sure that Namibian products, A, have visibility, two, have market preference in these spaces.
I see. All right. So you've been CEO at the NTF since 2020,
Correct.
I understand.
Yes.
So what changes have you witnessed firsthand in the Namibian trading community in the past 3 years?
So interesting because I started right in the middle of COVID. 2020 was the year COVID sort of started, and it was, I think, in March.
Yes.
And I got into office in May.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was extremely challenging because none of us had ever dealt with something like COVID at the time, if you remember.
And the
we
world
weren't
was locked
sure.
down.
Yeah. But even before that, we didn't know how serious it was. Was it coming to Africa? Was it coming to Namibia? Is it an international thing? And so because we've never dealt with a pandemic this magnitude, literally, private sector was looking for information everywhere. Government was trying to come up with the policies as well as trying to protect its people. So it was a lot going on. Working from home started soon after I got into office. So that took away, that personal interaction I would have with my team or even with the public. And so I don't want to say sailed through it. We literally we're catching balls wherever we could. But in that, remaining as true as possible to our mandate, trying to feed information to the private sector. Things were changing at borders within minutes, within hours.
Yes.
There was queues, there was backlog. So it was literally hands on deck and trying to do what we could to make sure that trade was happening. Why was that important? I like to say this just to sort of put things into context. But in COVID, because countries were trying to protect their people, their population, trade was at the back burner. Namibia almost about imports everything we eat, and that's predominantly from South Africa. So we weren't getting in as much food and produce as possible. Obviously, that has immediately questions the issue of food security. How food secure are we? If you talk to a lot of people in this industry, you will learn that if it wasn't COVID, Namibia had food enough, I think, for plus minus 3 months. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So for people that don't work in this field, it's like, oh, I can go to the shop and still find it.
Because
no.
I mean, just relax.
No,
that's for you to deal with.
Correct. It's not that easy. And so what we saw sort of in the COVID period was that, and this is, I think, why this is important, the work we're doing now, is that suddenly there was such come up by the domestic producers and sector to because for me, I'm a mother, I have 2 children. The last thing I wanted to do was to go to Pick and Pay because maybe in catching the trolley, I would get something.
Exactly.
There was a risk everywhere.
Yes.
And so what we saw was a come up of 2 things. Number 1, e-commerce. Number 2, our own productive capacity. We now realize that people are actually growing produce here in Namibia that could come up for that shortage that would be there in the stores. So what we did after COVID, well, I don't want to say after because it took quite a while.
Yeah.
What we did is that we looked at all of the potential that came up during COVID because suddenly the private sector that were doing stuff in Namibia, they really came up. They could show that we're able to do this. We have the fruit and vegetables. We have the meat. We have the eggs because that's who we were going to. You know, e-commerce came up really well. Food deliveries. I know a couple of businesses that were set up during COVID. So after that, we had to sit down and say, look, we've seen all of this potential. What can we do to make sure that we're not losing it, that it just doesn't go back in the shadows somewhere? And I think in speaking to your question, the change we've seen is really how open the markets are to locally produced goods and services. We're slowly but very intently moving away from needing to import everything. We're now intentional about, can we find it in Namibia? That's the first question. What does that do? It creates a job, it creates business for Namibia. And that's why we want to buy and spend local so we can grow our country.
And that is amazing. I would say, yeah, sure, the pandemic was bad, but you know, some
Correct.
good things were born out of
Absolutely.
it. You know, we had to think differently.
Yeah.
We had to learn to
Yeah.
think outside the box.
Very
So
true.
you have a Mentoring Women in Business program coming up in November
Yes.
with the Sherry Blair Foundation for Women. Could you elaborate, but as briefly as you can,
sure
on this
thing.
initiative?
So we partnered with Sherry Blair Foundation in the UK. They're an organization that is really meant to help mentor different women in different demographics or countries. We have partnered with them, and how it works is we set out an application process. Namibian women in business can apply, whether you're micro, whether you're small, whether you're large, and we pair you with different mentors across the globe.
Wow.
So that's international experience you're getting. That's potentially market access. It's the second round we're going, and it's going really well. So really encouraging women in business to check on our social media and make sure they can apply.
This is unrelated, but I do remember you spoke at the Momentum event, and that was quite powerful. And even just chatting to you now, I'm getting goosebumps because you are all for women empowerment and bringing up women.
Indeed.
Welcome to Active Kids, a daily TV show that sparks creativity, learning, and fun for young minds. With exciting activities and lessons, Active Kids inspires curiosity and a love for learning.
New face to the
15.
The perfect mix of play and education. Don't miss out on the fun. Tune into Active Kids on NTV every weekday at 10 o'clock and let the adventure begin.
Well, we've come to the end of today's exciting edition of Smell the Coffee. We will see you tomorrow, same time, same place. We are wishing you a fantastic Monday ahead. Please do not let the Monday blues get to you. There is no such thing as Blue Monday. On that note, it's all our love, all our light, and adios.